Amaka, come back here this minute. Chief Madu's deep voice echoed through the compound, filled with anger and authority. But Amaka didn't stop running. She couldn't. Her bare feet pounded against the dusty ground, kicking up little clouds of dust as she fled. Her heart raced, and her breath came in short, painful gasps. Tears blurred her vision, but she didn't care who was watching. All she knew was that she had to escape. The weight of her father's words still clung to her like a heavy burden. Just a few hours ago, her life had been normal, almost perfect. She had been in the backyard, sweeping the ground under the big mango tree while humming a tune. The air was cool, carrying the scent of ripe fruit and the distant sound of children laughing. She had been lost in thoughts of the future, a future filled with hope, freedom, and maybe even love. Her family was not rich, but they were happy. Chief Madu, her father, was a respected elder, known for his wisdom. Her mother, Mama Nkechi, was a quiet woman who held the family together with patience and love. But lately, something had changed. There were whispers in the market. Neighbors cast strange glances in her direction. Mama Nkechi's once bright eyes now carried a sadness she never spoke of. Amaka had ignored it all, thinking it was just village gossip. But today, everything became clear. That morning, Chief Madu called a family meeting. It was rare for him to do this, and whenever he did, it was always serious. Amaka sat beside her mother, feeling uneasy. Chief Madu paced back and forth, his heavy brows furrowed in deep thought. After what felt like an eternity, he stopped and faced them. His voice was deep, firm. Amaka, you are no longer a child. It is time for you to do something meaningful for this family. Amaka's heart pounded. What do you mean, Papa? Chief Madu cleared his throat. Chief Obinna has asked for your hand in marriage. He is a great man. A powerful man. He will give you a life far better than this one. Amaka's mouth fell open. Marriage. To Chief Obinna. Mama Nkechi lowered her head, unable to meet her daughter's eyes. Amaka's voice shook. But, Papa, he is old enough to be my father. Chief Madu raised a hand, his face hard. Enough. This is not up for discussion. You think wealth grows on trees? Chief Obinna will take care of you, and in return, our family will have a better future. This is the only way. Silence filled the room. Amaka looked at her mother, hoping for support. But Mama Nkechi said nothing. Her face was lined with sorrow, but she remained silent. That afternoon, Amaka wandered aimlessly through the village. The sun burned hot above her, but she hardly noticed. Her heart was heavy, her thoughts a storm of fear and confusion. Chief Obinna was one of the richest men in the region. He had many businesses, a big mansion, and a fleet of cars. But he was also feared. People whispered about his past wives, women who had married him and mysteriously disappeared. No one knew where they went. Some said they ran away. Others believed something far worse. Amaka shivered. What am I going to do? She whispered to herself. She found herself at the riverbank, her favorite place to think. The water sparkled under the afternoon sun, and the gentle sound of flowing water usually gave her peace. But today, nothing could calm her. A rustle in the bushes made her turn quickly. Standing there was Chike, her childhood friend. His face was filled with concern. Amaka, I've been looking for you. What's wrong? The moment she saw him, the weight of everything crashed down on her. She burst into tears. Chike, my father. He is selling me to Chief Obinna. He wants me to marry him in 2 weeks. Chike's face darkened. What? No. He can't do that. Amaka wiped her tears. He says it's for the family. That I have no choice. Chike clenched his fist. There's always a choice, Amaka. We will find a way out of this. I won't let you marry that man. She looked at him, her eyes filled with both hope and fear. But Chike, if we try to stop this, the whole village will turn against us. Chike's jaw tightened. Then let them. We will face it together. For the first time that day, Amaka felt a flicker of hope. But deep down, she knew defying her father would not be easy. Chief Madu was a proud man. Once he made a decision, it was almost impossible to change his mind. As the sun began to set, Amaka and Chike sat by the river, quietly planning their next move. They didn't know what lay ahead, but one thing was clear, this was only the beginning of a dangerous journey. The air was still and heavy that night. Amaka lay on her raffia mat, staring at the ceiling of their mud brick hut. Sleep refused to come. Her mind was restless, tangled with fear and uncertainty. The oil lamp in the corner flickered, casting long, shaky shadows on the wall. Every creak of the house made her heart jump. Chief Obinna. His name alone sent chills down her spine. He was powerful, wealthy, but feared. Stories of his cruelty were whispered from house to house. Some said he had a terrible temper. Others claimed he had dark secrets hidden behind the high walls of his mansion. And then there were the women. Edeora, his last wife, had disappeared 6 months ago. One day she was seen in the market, and the next, she was gone. No one knew what had happened to her. Some said she had run away. Others believed something far worse. Amaka shuddered. Is this the life my father wants for me? She turned on her side and faced the wall. Her heart ached at the thought of leaving her family, her home, her freedom. But what choice did she have? Her father had spoken. In 2 weeks, she would become Chief Obinna's wife. Unless she found a way out. She thought of Chike. His words from earlier echoed in her mind. There's always a choice, Amaka. We will find a way out of this. Could she really escape? The thought sent fear rushing through her veins. If she tried to run away, where would she go? If her father found out, he would be furious. And if Chief Obinna suspected anything, he would not take it lightly. Yet, the idea of staying and marrying him was even worse. A tear slipped down her cheek. She had to make a decision, and fast. Somewhere outside, an owl hooted. The night stretched on, silent and endless. But Amaka knew one thing for sure. By sunrise, she would have to find a way to change her fate. Amaka's thoughts drifted back to the days when her life had been carefree. She remembered the laughter of her friends as they ran barefoot through the fields, the wind tugging at her wrapper. Life had been simple then, before everything had changed. She had been the pride of the village, known for her beauty and kindness. The villagers would often stop and smile when they saw her, proud of her potential. Her dream had always been to become a midwife, like old Mama Ezin, who helped bring babies into the world. Amaka had spent countless hours by Mama Ezin's side, learning about herbs and the mysteries of childbirth. She never imagined her life would be defined by a cruel arrangement for marriage. Marriage was meant to be about love, not about wealth and status. It wasn't that her father didn't love her. Chief Madu had once been a man of great means, respected by all. He owned vast farmlands and had been the pride of the village. But a series of bad harvests and a terrible flood had changed everything. Their family's fortune had crumbled, and with it, their dignity. Chief Madu's pride wouldn't allow him to ask for help. When Chief Obinna had come to him with an offer, money and gifts in exchange for Amaka's hand, he had seen it as a way out of their troubles. It's for the family, he had told himself. Amaka will live in comfort and luxury. She'll thank me one day. But Amaka couldn't see the comfort in a life of fear. Meanwhile, Chike had grown up knowing hardship. Often at a young age, he had been raised by his strict uncle. Despite his rough upbringing, Chike had always been kind, brave, and loyal. He and Amaka had been inseparable since childhood, and their bond had only grown stronger over the years. Now, it was Chike who was determined to save Amaka. He wasn't rich, but he had something far more valuable: courage and love. He was ready to stand by her side, no matter the cost. The next morning, Amaka woke with a renewed sense of urgency. If she was going to escape this fate, she needed a plan, and fast. She met Chike under the iroko tree by the river, just as they had agreed. "We don't have much time," Chike whispered, his eyes scanning the surroundings. "Your father has already started making arrangements for the marriage feast." Amaka's heart sank. "So soon?" Chike nodded. "Yes, but we can't let this happen. We'll leave the village and start a new life somewhere far away." Amaka hesitated. "Leave the village? But where would we go? How will we survive?" "I have friends in the neighboring town," Chike assured her. "They'll help us get settled. We'll find work, and you can continue learning from the midwives there." Amaka's eyes filled with tears. For the first time in days, she felt a flicker of hope. "But how do we live without anyone noticing?" she asked. "My father has been watching me closely. He's even asked Mom and Kechi to stop me from wandering off." Chike leaned in. "We'll leave the night before the wedding. I'll wait for you by the river with 2 horses. We'll take the forest path. It's longer, but it's safer. No one will expect us to go that way." Amaka nodded slowly. "And what about my mother? She'll be heartbroken." "I'll leave a message for her," Chike promised. "She'll understand. She loves you too much to want this life for you." They spent hours making sure every detail was planned, each decision weighing heavily on their hearts. Every moment felt like a gamble, a step closer to freedom. As they were about to leave, Amaka heard a voice calling behind them. "Amaka, what are you two plotting?" They spun around to see Nkem, the village gossip, standing with her arms crossed and a sly smile on her face. Amaka's heart raced. If Nkem found out, their plan would be ruined. "You think you can escape the great Chief Obinna?" Nkem sneered. "I wouldn't count on it." Amaka tried to keep her voice steady. "We were just talking about old times, Nkem. Nothing important." But Nkem narrowed her eyes. We'll see about that." She turned and walked away, her wrapper swaying as she disappeared down the path. Chike grabbed Amaka's hand. "We have to move faster. She'll tell your father. We might not have until the night before the wedding." Amaka's pulse quickened. The clock was ticking faster than they had planned. That night, she could hardly breathe. The shadows of the village swallowed every corner of their home. Every sound, every creak, felt like a warning. Chike was waiting by the river, just as they had agreed. Amaka had a small bundle of clothes in her hand. This was it. Freedom was just a few steps away. She tiptoed to the door, careful not to wake anyone. But then, a deep voice stopped her. "Where do you think you're going, Amaka?" She froze, slowly turning to find her father, Chief Madu, standing in the doorway, lantern in hand. His face was a mix of anger and disappointment. "I asked you a question." Chief Madu's voice echoed. "Where are you going at this hour?" Amaka swallowed. I was just going to get some fresh air." Her father's eyes narrowed. "With a bag of clothes? Do you take me for a fool?" Amaka's heart pounded in her chest. She couldn't think of a lie quick enough. Before she could respond, Nkem entered the room, her arms crossed and a smug smile on her face. "I told you she was up to something. She was planning to run away with that Chike boy." Chief Madu's face darkened. "So it's true. You were going to disgrace this family, throw away everything I've worked for." "No," Papa. It's not like that. Amaka cried, tears streaming down her face. I don't love Chief Obinna. He's a cruel man. Please, don't make me marry him. Chief Madu's voice softened for just a moment. Amaka, you don't understand. This marriage will secure our future. You'll live a life of comfort. What more could you want? I want my freedom. Amaka cried. I want to choose my own path. But Chief Madu shook his head. Enough. You will marry Chief Obinna. It's for the good of the family. Chief Madu ordered his guards to keep a close watch on Amaka. She was locked in her room with a guard stationed outside. Her dream of escaping was slipping away. Meanwhile, Chike waited by the river, his heart sinking with every passing minute. When Amaka didn't show up, panic set in. He knew something had gone wrong. The next morning, he tried to get closer to the house, but Chief Madu's guards chased him away. His desperation grew. He couldn't abandon her now. Amaka's mother, Mama Ngozi, couldn't bear to see her daughter in pain. That night, she snuck into Amaka's room. My child, I can't let this happen, Mama Ngozi whispered. I'll speak to your father again. But you must stay strong. Amaka clutched her mother's hands. Mama, please help me. I can't marry him. I'd rather die. Mama Ngozi wiped away her daughter's tears. We'll find a way, my dear. Trust me. But deep down, both knew it would be difficult. Chief Madu was stubborn, and once he made a decision, it was nearly impossible to change his mind. She began to form a new plan, one riskier than the last. This time, she would need Chike's help again, but how could she get a message to him? The wedding was just 3 days away, and time was running out. Her freedom depended on what happened next. With just 3 days until the wedding, Amaka's freedom is slipping away. Locked in her room, watched by guards, and betrayed by Nkem, escape seems impossible. But she refuses to give up. Can she reach Chike before it's too late? Don't miss part 2 to find out what happened. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to share and turn on notifications so you never miss an update.